I'm going to show you today how to send email with attachments through Outlook from Excel. Now, I've done this before, but this one is slightly different. I did this for a gentleman a while ago, and he who was sending out his customers, a list of customers, which were obviously much longer than this, his their statements or whatever, monthly invoices, whatever. But he also wanted to have the option of sending 2 other additional files. Now, the files didn't always exist, and he still wanted it to run whether it existed or not. And so what I did is I created this little thing here. And so what we have here is an attachment which always has to go. So this is their invoice or their statement or whatever. And then these are possibly a catalog, and the other one would be like the specials for the month. And sometimes he'd want to send the catalog, and sometimes he'd want to send the specials for the month. So let me show you how I did it. So first of all, we're going to look at my directory where this is coming from. And if you look at this, I have all the statements, and I have the catalog, but I don't have the specials file here. Okay, so now normally if you had this running and you didn't have the additional files that you're saying, it would stop with an error. So let me show you the code. So what I did is the same thing as I send email from Excel, edress, subject is a string, message is a string, file name is a string, Outlook is an object, Outlook mail is an object, my attachment as an object. Now I've made 3 paths here. Path 1 or path 2, and path 3 is strings. Last row is integer, attachment 2, and attachment 3 is string. This is what's different. And so now what I have here is I set it up all the same with Outlook and Outlook Mail, and path is the path to their invoices or statements. And so this one doesn't have a file name on it, but these ones on the second 2, path 2 and path 3, are just pamphlets or brochures that are sending out along with the mail. And so I have not only the path, I also have the file name at the end of the path here. Okay, now the subject is Sheet1.Cells 4, so that would be here. The first name is Sheet1.Cells 1. File name is Sheet1.Cells 5, which is the attachment, which is their invoice. And then attachment equals path plus file name. Okay, so then we set Outlook mail to edress, and then carbon copy to blank, and blind carbon copy to blank, and the subject being the subject that we have here, which is their invoice number. Outlook mail body, so I say first name, and I say please find your statement attached, and then I say carriage return and best regards. Now this is where it's different. So if path 2 equals, if that doesn't exist, then sheet 1 x6 not sent, so it's going to put in there not sent, and then go to next attachment. Or else if it does exist, attachment 2 equals path 2, my attachments add attachments 2, sheet 1 cells x6 equals sent, and so it's going to put a sent there, and then it's going to do the same thing for the next one. So if directory path does not exist, then sheet 1's x3, it's going to say not sent, and then go to nd, which is the last thing here. And then if it does exist, then it's going to send it. And so then here we go down the rest, and it's all very similar to what we've had before. My attachments add, Outlook mail display, and of course you could take off the italics before the Outlook, so you could send it right away. And then last row, edress equals nothing, and x plus 1, so you just go to the top of the list. And when this is all done, then you set Outlook is nothing, and Outlook mail equals nothing. So let's F8 through this and see what it looks like when it runs. So I'm going to start at the top here and go F8. So it's quite happy as it's going along here. go, and then it's going through that. Now it's going to check and see whether this exists. And if it does exist, because it's going to the next one, and then it's going to add this attachment. And then we're going to go to the next one and see if this one exists. So it does not exist, so it's going to go to not send and go to NE, which is at the end here. And then it's going to do the rest of the... So now you can see the email here, and it says your the one that your statement or whatever, and then it says catalog, which existed, and there's your message. Now it didn't send an error message when the sales didn't exist, and it also, if you go back to your Excel sheet, it also said under catalog that it was sent, and specials it was not sent. So that is how you send email with attachments from Excel, and you send attachments if they exist. Please subscribe.